Yeah, I'll take it.
We'll try it.
All right, looks like we're ready to go. Both players have kept 7. Let's see what we have. Misty Rainforest getting cracked to start the game. Oh, no, we have the 2 phones on the table again. All right, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Let's see if the phones stay in sync. Okay, Green Sun Zenith here. It's getting forced. It would have found Dryad Arbor if it had resolved. That's the only 0 available. Pitching Murktide Regent. No ramping for Jesse. Polluted Delta for Herman. Pass the turn. Coinbop with an interesting question. Whose deck is favored? My guess is the Cradle Control deck is favored, but these days the blue-black tempo in Legacy is really good. That was the Underground Mortuary, black-green Surveilland, left the card on top. Here's Elvish Reclaimer, which is a key card in this Cradle Control deck. It can help you find Gaia's Cradle. Looks like it's been announced that this Reclaimer is getting dazed, is my guess. Polluted Delta finding an Underground Sea in response. There's the daze. Okay, Wasteland on the Underground Mortuary. It goes into the trash. So Jesse hasn't been able to establish anything yet in the early game. That looked like a Talon Gates of Madara in hand. All right, here's Elvish Reclaimer. It's going to phase out the Reclaimer. This is a Ponder for Herman. Looks like it's a Ponder Shuffle.
Go ahead.
Harry Houdini has arrived, everybody. Harry Houdini has arrived. If you want me to get that excited about your arrival, you can put your name up in the top left of the screen. Harry Houdini is VIP here. All right, there's Ignoble Hierarch. Elvish Reclaimer attacking. Gets a Exalted trigger for anybody that missed that. Endurance. Pitching Springheart and Antuco. Gonna put Herman's Graveyard on the bottom. Could be a way to slow things down. Herman, as you can see, has a Murktide Regent in exile. A little bit aggressive with the Endurance there, maybe. We'll see how this shakes out.
Okay. I'll name Necrodominance.
Pay 2 life.
Okay. Yeah, just
Oh, Watery Grave paying 2 life. Is this Shadow? What's going on here? Ooh. Is this a shocking twist and it's Shadow this whole time? That would be exciting.
Yeah, just that's an effect. Okay.
Yeah, occasionally you'll see Shocklands in the Legacy format. Most of the time it'll be in Shadow these days. All right, Reanimate, targeting Endurance. And we're going to put Jesse's Graveyard on the bottom this time. Interesting. Okay, so the Elvish Reclaimer is, well, actually, it didn't have a boost, so that doesn't really change anything. But it's less close to having one, I would say. And now Endurance is a blocker. White of the Reliquary, new card from MH3.
Good. Sure.
There's an endurance on defense. The white can grow pretty large. All right, dismember on Elvish Reclaimer. Guess this is Shadow. Petty theft on the white.
What?
Redemption with a great question. Has Bloomborough made any measurable impact on Legacy? I'd say the answer is easily no at this point. With the commander sets tied to the standard sets, so the Bloomborough commander, sometimes in Legacy people can be a little late to try some new tech. But as of right now, there hasn't been anything. Very limited. I think I've seen like 1 or 2 Bloomborough cards show up in Decklist dumps over on whatever sites. All right, there's a Gaia's Cradle. Springheart and Tuco has bestowed itself on Ignoble Hierarch. Insect token has been created.
Yeah.
Pass. As 1, 2.
Sorcery creature instant.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Springheart and Tuco, a very neat card from MH3 that has been seeing some play in Legacy. Wasteland takes out the Gaia's Cradle, not too bad.
Sure.
I have no responses.
Jesse is hellbent and says, I have no responses to anything. Why do the Reliquary even is summoning sick at this point?
I'm at 50.
Sure.
There's Tamio, the Inquisitive Scholar.
I'm at 15. Sorry. Okay. There. 15.
Sure.
And just a reminder that the land on Jesse's side is Talon Gates of Madara. I just put the, it's a gate from the MH3 commander. Just put the text for that up on the screen as well. White of the Reliquary going into the red zone, it looks like.
5. I follow. Before blocks. Go 6.
So Ignoble Hierarch was copied. That's the token we see with the white, black, and red on it. 2 Exalted triggers on the white, and there is 1 creature in the graveyard. So this is a 5/5 attacker, more than Endurance can handle. Surveil now for Herman, Undercity Sewers.
And each game. No, yeah, enhancement.
I'll get the survey land.
Also the land.
Land, yep. An enchantment.
Right?
White of the Reliquary can turn this insect into a land if... Okay, so a chump block on Endurance. That'll grow the white. Death Shadow surveilled into the graveyard.
Alright, that response.
Chugga with a great question. Where do you record these games? Yes, we have Monday Night Legacy here in New York City at Game Storia. Friday Night Legacy FNM at Bifrost Games in Manhattan. And we have several weekend competitive REL events per month. So that's where we've been recording for 90s MTG. And for anyone new around here, we do have a YouTube channel with a gigantic library of Legacy matches for you to enjoy. All right, Tamio attacks. We're making a clue. I'm passing the turn. Brazen Borrower on an adventure.
Play Grist.
Trigger. Make another one. So there's 2. Another home. Yeah, another one.
Okay, another land drop. Making another copy of an Ignoble Hierarch. So the die on the token is 2 copies of Ignoble Hierarch. White of the Reliquary attacking here. And sink into stupor.
+1. Mill.
Response.
Insect.
In response, sacking the insect token to find a land. What are we looking for this time? Maybe a Talon Gates to phase out the white? That's possible. Counter this sink into super. Oh, just Bojuka Bog. Okay, well, that makes sense. Didn't consider Bojuka Bog there, but exiling Herman's Graveyard is not too bad.
Unless you want another noble.
Good.
We are in combat, though. Yep. Go. That's okay. I got another noble.
Okay, so now 3 copies of Ignoble Hierarch. That's from the landfall trigger on Spring Heart and Tuco. Replays the white of the Reliquary and pass the turn. The white is a 4/4, would get 4 Exalted triggers if and when it attacks at this point. Sacking a clue now is Herman.
Thank you.
I'll take 3.
Okay, I'll take.
You gain 5.
I get 5.
I take 3. 14. 14, 11.
Okay.
Go ahead. Get a clue.
I'll go.
Tamio attacks, make a clue, casting a Ponder. Ponder shuffle. Seems like there is nothing to block here. Okay, game 1 goes to Jesse. And we will keep an eye on all of that. Herman will be on the play. So I had in my notes that Herman was on blue-black tempo, but it turns out it was Death Shadow. I guess I didn't play against Herman at this event, or, you know, I don't watch these games in advance before this live stream. So we got a little bit surprised there. Hopefully it was a pleasant surprise for everybody that voted for blue-black tempo. People like Death Shadow, right? Death Shadow's a liked card. Does anybody disagree? Soporific Springs to start game 2. The reverse side of Sink into Stupor, and then Tamio, the Inquisitive Scholar, once again. So Tamio might be preparing to create some clues. Verdant Catacombs getting cracked now. Jesse finds a basic forest. AP asking a great question. Was Death Shadow even tested for 1v1? AP, as you know, the World Wake set was a mistake. It was just a mistake, you know?
Like a main?
What were they thinking when they made World Wake? All right, Brainstorm. Roberts is cheering for Jesse. Okay, we have a Jesse fan in the chat. All right, Tamio will become a Planeswalker. We've seen Tamio on stream quite a bit recently, and we've seen it specifically against these Cradle control decks that make a whole bunch of insect tokens and stuff. Tamio can be really annoying. So let's see how this plays out. Polluted Delta, it'll most likely find a Surveil land at some point is my guess. Yeah, for anybody new around here, the joke, we're explaining the joke. The joke is every Magic set was a mistake. That's the joke. Because people are never happy. All right, Elvish Reclaimer off a Lair of the Hydra. Dom V with a question. Does Exalted or Tamio trigger go on the stack first? So non-active player, active player, non-active player, you're going to have to ask a high-level judge, like level 6 or higher, but, you know. Undercity Sewers dumps a Polluted Delta that we don't need into the graveyard. Tamio has 4 loyalty currently. Let's see if it ticks up again. Ponder. Elvish Reclaimer is a creature you want to kill on sight before it can get unlocked from Summoning Sickness. Let's see if Herman can do that. Okay, plussing Tameo. Seasoned Scholar. Voidwalker. Dauthi Voidwalker, not too bad. That prevents Elvish Reclaimer from growing. Tameo will prevent any of these creatures from dealing more than 1 damage. There is an Exalted trigger available. To answer Dom's question, though, the non-active player would be Herman in combat, so Tameo would be at the top of the stack to resolve first. All right, here's Gaia's Cradle. New Rocker arrives in the chat, says, glad to be part of the Legacy format for the first time. Picked up Maverick, and I'm loving it. That's awesome. I've been playing Maverick recently myself. Cool deck. I'm getting the hang of it. It's Gaia's Cradle on Jesse's side. Okay, Endurance. That'll put Herman's Graveyard on the bottom. Why Endurance now, in case anybody's wondering? Murktide. I'm going to decrease the size of that graveyard. That's a good reason. All right, no attacks. Wait, so the Reclaimer could have attacked Tameo for 1, right? But we're holding back Reclaimer to activate, it seems. All right, here's Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog has definitely made its impact on Legacy. Dauthi Voidwalker has Shadow, so we'll see if Dauthi Voidwalker tries to attack here. Jin Kohler with a great question. What makes his deck a control deck? You know, I'm glad you asked because I absolutely hate the name Cradle Control. This is not a control deck. It's a mid-rangey Green Sun Zenith natural order deck. But it's been called Cradle Control, and if I don't put that in the bottom left of the screen, I get weird messages. Some of these people are not doing well. All right, here's a ponder for Herman. I don't know. It's called Cradle Control. Somebody figure it out. I don't know. Doesn't make any damn sense. All right, Shadow Creature attacking. It gets through. So far, both phones are staying in sync very nicely, which is a great thing. And looks like Herman has passed the turn with a clue on the table, Psychic Frog available. Tameo with 8 loyalty, which is scary. Foster with a great question. For one, trying to get into Legacy, what's the cheapest effective deck? So there are a few decks that are very effective that do not have any reserve list cards, if you want to start the conversation there. Death and Taxes, 8-Cast, Turbo Depths, Burn. Burn falls a little, if we're being honest, it falls a little bit below the bar of effective. And Oops All Spells is another one. There are variants of each of those decks that can throw in a reserve list card in the mix here and there, but I think those are a great place to start if you're looking for quote-unquote budget options to get into Legacy. Once you start adding the reserve list cards to the decks, it gets a little bit hard for me to say.
This one when I... Oh, no. Now. So, yeah, it's...
Yeah, Ruby Storm is another good one. Death Shadow is close. I mean, we see 2 Underground Seas on Herman's board right now, so I feel a little silly even saying Death Shadow. Cloud Post is okay without the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, for example. Some people are making that work. All right, Lair of the Hydra getting activated here. I think we're going to take a shot at Tameo, which is in dangerous loyalty territory right now.
Yeah, it's before the left.
Lair of the Hydra and Endurance attacking Teferi. Tameo. Psychic Frog is available to block. Looks like Herman has 3 cards in hand. I can't really tell. It looks like 3.
I'll swap the endurance and discard.
Okay, blocking Endurance, discarding a Reanimate. Okay, the ability to put a Psalmistone counter on Psychic Frog is on the stack. Jesse's having a think here. Is there anything we can do with Reclaimer? Okay, so Psychic Frog will get the Pulson counter. Becomes a 2/3. And then Tamia will go down to 4 loyalty. It looks like Endurance and Psychic Frog. Herman's content to have them bounce off of each other, and so is Jesse. All right. Passing the turn.
This one stops the trigger, right? Because it's a dice trigger.
Okay, Brainstorm for Herman.
I don't think so. It stops it, right? Because it's a dice. Because
Yeah, Eldrazi is pretty good in Legacy right now, as Roberts points out. Wait, does that have reserve list cards in it? Is there something I'm forgetting? It might not. Huh.
Judge.
Oh, City of Traders. That's right. I always forget about City of Traders. Yeah. Mox Diamond in some versions. Null Rod. Yeah, okay. I guess there are some... Okay, here's Grief. Pharaoh Macaw being activated here in response. Brainstorm and Ponder, it looks like, have been selected.
I still get the okay.
Okay, responding by exiling them to the Frog. The hand has revealed its 3 lands.
I'll take it.
Plus Tamio.
Plus Tameo up to 6. Looks like Herman has 1 card in hand. Fap says, have you ever tried CEDH or not interesting at all? I feel Legacy and CEDH kind of same power level. I have not tried CEDH. I'm a little bit maxed out on my bandwidth for formats right now. I'm open to trying it in the future, though. I'm not against CEDH in any way. And I have a lot of Magic friends that play CEDH, and they're having a blast with it, so it's all good. All right, Talon Gates of Madara phases out Psychic Frog, it looks like. Thinking about activating this Lair of the Hydra once again. It can become a creature and try to inflict some pain on Tameo, who's at 6 loyalty right now. Jesse counting some mana, though. That could be scary. These Zenith Natural Order decks can drop some huge creatures on the board, like Atraxa or Craterhoof Behemoth, for example. All right, fetching with Windswept Heath. What are we finding? Yeah, I'm aware that CEDH seems to be a lot of events allow proxies or whatever. All right, Dryad Arbor is found. It's placed in the wrong zone. We're going to keep a very close eye on that situation. Making mana, 5 mana from Gaia's Cradle, 6 with Talon Gates.
Make this a
I'll take risk.
5.
Okay, dumping all the mana into the lair. It's a 5/5 and attacking Tamio. Looks like Tamio's knocked out. Seasoned Scholar KO'd.
Okay, perfect.
And step.
You go
I'll
to
sign it.
1, right?
Kill this one. Exile.
Attack.
Then research 2 basic lands.
Enter the battlefield.
Untap.
Okay, now a brainstorm for Herman. Yeah, look at Jesse's Dryad Arbor. Is that a preview from Mystery Booster 3?
Go to combat.
Then I'll pay 2.
Swing him with Psychic Frog and Dothi Voidwalker. No fear.
Okay.
I search for a creature with mana value 1 or less.
Yeah, as far as I know, Jesse whiteboarded some cards that he's going to be regularly searching for in the deck, and just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so Psychic Frog and Voidwalker get through. Jesse down to 7. Draw a card off the frog. Fetching with a Polluted Delta now.
Creature instant land. Yep. Then your turn.
Now a Ponder as the camera gets bumped. Just Endurance and this Lair of the Hydra on... Alright, so Fatal Push on Reclaimer. Reclaimer down. Gets exiled with the Voidwalker. Murktide now. Murktide Regent. How big is it? 7/7. Alright. Pretty good. Reducing the number of creatures on the battlefield as well. Hurts Cradle a bit. So right now... Okay, we're going to game 3. Jesse scoops it up. There was no point in further explaining that board, I guess. Game is over. Moving on to game 3. Jesse will be on the play. We'll see if we get a turn 1 Zenith or a turn 1 Mana Dork, as they're called. There is Ignoble Hierarch.
No, sorry. No, I have to finish.
Some rampy stuff going on in this ridiculously named Cradle Control deck. Grief pitching Troll of Khazad-dûm. We're going to take a look. Endurance, Dismember, Mortuary, and Wooded Foothills. Dismember's taken.
I drew 10 cards.
Turn 1 Zenith would find Dryad Arbor. It's a neat way to ramp into 3 mana for turn 2. All right, Polluted Delta gets cracked. Seems like there's a fetch and response. Not sure what happened here. Maybe Endurance getting flashed in while Daze is unavailable is my guess.
This card, right?
Before I discard, I can play instant.
Okay, instant.
It's these micro decision plays to the untrained legacy players that win games. I mean, the Pluto Delta gets cracked there. Endurance in response. Can't get dazed. Clean Endurance hits. Puts the 2 cards on the bottom, including a Grief. Nice play there. Jesse and... I mean... Jesse has appeared on 90s MTG for quite a while now. Back when we first started streaming on Twitch 4 years ago, Jesse was on a lot of our streams during the COVID lockdown webcam legacy era that we lived in. Powder Keg, okay, that could be kind of nasty. But Jesse knows how to play this game. All right, so Powder Keg is on the board. Scott has gifted 5 subs. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Number 1 on our all-time gift sub leaderboard. And now with a purple and teal badge of 251 total gifted subs on 90s MTG. Amazing. Thank you, Scott. So much appreciate you. Okay, Powder Keg will get its first counter. As of right now, there's only an ignoble hierarch on the board, as you can tell.
Oh, this 5 cards. Done?
Another Endurance. Put his own graveyard on the bottom this time. In these Zenith decks, it's kind of neat. You can Endurance yourself, put a creature back into the deck, then find it later with Zenith. Just pointing that out. Okay, Dryad Arbor is fetched up by Windswept Heath.
After the French resolve,
Dismember targeting Endurance. Underground Mortuary, Serval. Looks like Jesse has decided to leave it on top. Dryad Arbor getting placed in the correct zone, attacking.
Sorry? Your turn.
Looks like Jesse's holding another copy of Ignoble Hierarch, but maybe going to hold off until this Powder Keg pops. Or if it becomes in the clear. Powder Keg ticks up. Maybe we'll see Jesse put more Exalted creatures on the board. All right, Underground, Undercity, Sewers, Serval. Okay, basic island into the trash.
leave it alone.
Powder Keg intentionally left on 1. So that's worth taking note of. All right, Murktide. 5/5 Murktide. I mean, it's a nice clock. Jesse will have a hard time dealing with it. No Swords to Plowshares in this deck. No Power Blast. No Terror. What would be the worst removal spell that Jesse could have right now? All right, Ignoble Hierarch number 2 is played, after all. Gaia's Cradle.
Green Sun for 3. Yeah.
Okay, Green Sun X is 3. I think there was an extra mana that needed to be played. Did I miss something? Oh wait. No, never mind. I'm bugging. All right, there's Grist.
And this one also. This creature.
That'll be a way to defeat the Murktide, potentially.
It's in the graveyard.
1 second.
That's what it's in the graveyard.
I'm not sure of the timing about when you're choosing to sacrifice the creature and then when I can respond to that ability.
It happens at once.
Judge?
Okay, judge call on the timing of Grist's ability. The text is up on your screen. -2, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. So,
I don't believe so, but I'm gonna get Derek just in case. Derek, somebody minus a Grist. Does the opponent have the opportunity to respond before the effect?
Yes.
Oh, they do.
So like before they choose which creature to sacrifice.
May before I can sack the creature.
yeah. So, I'll just explain what's going on here. So, you -2, that's the cost of the ability. And then, this is being explained to the players, I guess. And then you can respond before your opponent sacrifices a creature and before they choose a target. You can respond to the ability. Let's see what Herman's response would even be here. It can be to pop Powder Keg and force a sacrifice of Dryad Arbor.
So
That's why we asked Derek.
Good play here by Herman. Get the last creature off the board while we still can. Murktide dies, but so does all of Jesse's creatures. So do all of Jesse's creatures.
fetch land, 1/1 shadow.
Okay, 1/1 Death Shadow. Grist is going to be a pain in the butt. Plussing Grist. Making an insect, but the wrong colors. It's supposed to be black and green. And milling a card. Elvish Reclaimer. Am I excited for the new White Border Legacy cards? Yeah, actually I am. I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Green Sun Zenith. I believe X is 2. And there's White of the Reliquary. It's quite big. Looks like it is a 7/7.
I'll pass. I know this.
Okay. So it comes back with a counter.
And step.
Oh no, with the roll token.
All right, sacking a Flooded Strand on end step. Not sure why it was put in exile. All right, whatever.
Flash.
Okay, flashing and Brazen Borrower. This could be a good way to knock out Grist. Grist down. Grief. No cards in hand for Jesse, but a nice 3/2 menace. And we might need help against this White of the Reliquary, if we're being honest. So, Wooded Foothills is played. White is now an 8/8, I believe. There are 6 creatures in the graveyard.
No blocks. 3.
Go down to 3. That grows the Death Shadow, which is a little scary.
So now it's a 10/10.
10/10 Death Shadow, 3/1 Brazen Borrower attacking. The Death Shadow is larger than the White. Grief could stay back on defense, protect Herman from getting knocked out here potentially. Jesse's Hellbent. I like this attack. Chump block the Death Shadow. Makes sense. Could have chump blocked and then sacked to the White. Didn't do that. Psychic Frog.
If you want to search, I won't search.
Yeah, if Jesse has Talon Gate, Herman is in trouble. I agree. There was maybe a missed opportunity there to sack the insect. Here's a Dryad Arbor. There are 2 blockers now, though.
Is she gain 4 life?
Ah, yeah.
Proceed.
If we have anybody from the DCI watching, yes, the Dryad Arbor is in the wrong zone. Okay, it's been corrected. Everybody calm down. Everybody relax. Someone just now stopped typing on all caps.
No? Sure.
I'll swing.
Sorry?
Any effects before blockers?
Swinging with an 8/8. Any effects before blockers, asks Herman. Gonna sack the Dryad Arbor. White isn't in combat. It has vigilance. Dryad Arbor has been sacked. What are we finding? Talon Gates of Madara. Okay. Phasing out Grief.
Yeah, they're all over here. I will move blocks. All right, goodbye, frog.
Okay. A nice goodbye to the frog. Another white of the Reliquary. Pretty good. All right, Grief phases back in. Death Shadow is a 10/10. Brazen Borrower has flying. These whites are pretty damn big. Barely relevant. Herman's at 3.
What deck is in your
Wait, right now it's a 10-10.
So, first time I bring this.
Okay. It's a weird deck.
Ooh, this is tricky. What did Herman draw? If Herman drew removal spell,
You have.
I didn't get that for 6. I didn't get any.
okay, attack it for 6. Grief. Okay. Okay.
3 items. Just
Draw and throw. Grief.
Also Grief. Yeah.
And then I have
Okay, Noble Hierarch. Is there another Talon Gates of Madara available? If so, this is game. Attacking with the 2 whites. Sack the creature that we top decked.
Is a combo?
this because I cast this one, I target myself. Then I just copy it over and over again.
All right, another Talon Gates of Madara, and the players shake hands. Phasing, the mechanic nobody likes, and the gate mechanic, also not liked by anyone. GG's. Good match. That was a good one. I'm kidding, of course.